Hello everyone, this is Rhoda and welcome to Rhoda Cards. I'm going to do a very simple video today on easel cards, but I'm also going to do kind of a three-step, step it up on the same card. So I'm going to do a series of these and call it 1, 2, 3, easy peasy. So we have 3 different steps. These are all the same card, but we're going to step it up just a little bit. So this one will use the same ink on the front. If you want to step it up just a little bit, you can use different ink colors. And then if you want to step it up just a notch more, use heat embossing. And I did heat embossing with gold on this one. Now all 3 of these are an easel card, which is a fun fold. And they set up like that. You can put the card flat and put it in an envelope, open it to see the middle. You can write your whatever you want to write here. It closes flat, or you can just pull this up and let it sit, and it will sit on a shelf or somewhere on your desk or anywhere where you would like to see it. Same thing for all of these. They all are an easel card. And these are called either fun folds or fancy folds. They're kind of the same term, but I'm going to show you how to make this super easy fun fold. So let me go ahead and get started and show you how to do this. Now this can be for the beginner card maker and even some card makers who have been doing this for a while. This is super easy, and it's just the very basic easel fun fold. So here's the supplies that you will need. Here is a base, which is 4 1/4 by 11. Now when you have an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of paper, normally to get 2 bases off of one of these 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of paper, you take your paper trimmer and you're going to put it in this way and cut it at 5 1/2, and you get 2 bases. Well, you can also cut it longwise. It's hard to see the whole sheet in the video, but this is the 11-inch side here. So you can put it in longwise, put it up to 4 1/4, and you will cut your base this way. You still have 2 bases, but they're long and skinny. So it's 4 1/4 by 11. That's how you cut that one. And when you're doing this particular easel card, you want to make sure that you cut your bases longwise. So it's 4 1/4 by 11. Now the other pieces that we're going to use is our paper mat is 5 1/4 by 4. And then you need 2 pieces of white, which is 4 1/4 by 3. Again, you need 2 pieces of this. I'm using blue for my mat, which is 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. And see, the white piece will go right on top of there, like that. I also have a piece of the pattern paper that is 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. Now I've already stamped my sentiment for the inside on this, and the white piece here is 2 1/4 by 1 5/8. Now the blue piece is 2 1/2 inches long, and then I just trimmed it down so it was the same all the way around. I didn't really measure it. I just put the white on and then just trimmed it off. I've also put foam tape on the back of it for the inside where our easel is going to sit up. So we'll get started with the base. For our very simple easel card, our fun fold, you have your base. You want to fold it in half. Now you can score this in half at 5 1/2, or you can just take it and fold it down. And then I use my bone folder to crisp the edges. So you have, this is going to be 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So this is just a top folding card. All right, now we're going to take this again and fold it again in half. The front piece, we're going to fold it up in half. You don't have to measure this. You just take it, fold it up to the top, and make your crease. Again, take your bone folder and crisp the edge. So you have this piece that kind of looks like this. So fold it in half, and then fold this piece up in half again. And then this is what is going to open this way. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do some stamping. I love to do stamping. And I'm going to do some stamping for this card. And I'm going to show you the way that we step this up from one to the next. When you're using clear stamps, I'm going to use clear stamps on this. You want to use a matte, which helps get you a crisp image when you're stamping. So remember, we have 2 of these. So one of them we're going to stamp on. Now I have a piece of paper that I put underneath my sheet when I stamp, because at one point I'm going to be stamping off of this sheet. So I'm going to stamp that, move that up a little bit so that it's in the camera. I'm using sapphire ink, which matches the paper. And I think this paper is just beautiful paper. I just think that is so pretty. So I had to make a card with it. I'm using the sapphire ink. And the stamp set that I'm using these beautiful flowers. And I'm going to stamp "A Thankful Heart Blooms Year Round." And I'm going to put this in the sapphire ink. Now when you're stamping a big stamp like this, I like to twist it a little bit in the ink and then tap. And then I'm going to put it right in the center and stamp right into the center here. Give it good even pressure. Now when you stamp, you don't want to rock it back and forth this way or this way. You want to just stamp it straight down and then pull it up. Now, the first one that I did, the first card that I did, I will show you. I stamped it in sapphire, and then I used these beautiful flowers to stamp the edge around my sentiment. And I used the same ink. Now you can step it up a little bit and use a different color ink. I used the toffee on the next one that I did. And with this one, I used the flowers and I stamped in toffee. And that kind of brings the craft color base and the blue together with the background. What I'm going to use on this one is I'm going to heat emboss this one. And I'm going to use some gold embossing powder. Now I haven't done a video with embossing before, but this is gold embossing powder. It's what I'm going to use on this. Now when you're using embossing powder, you want to use a sticky ink. This is Versamark stamp pad, and it's a sticky ink. So it doesn't put color down. What it does is it uses like a very light type of glue stickiness, and then you pour your powder on it and it sticks to that. Then you use a heat gun to heat the embossing powder, and it will melt the embossing powder and make it really shiny, and that's where the gold powder comes from. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to use my Versamark on these flowers. And you use the Versamark just like an ink. This is a big stamp. So I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to use the flowers around the edge of my sentiment. I'm going to put it down here at the bottom. Again, stamp with even pressure. and then I'm going to stamp it again at the top. And you can see how this sticky stamp pad sticks to my stamp here. And then I'm going to use it up here. I'm going to move this down just a little bit because I want to keep it on the pad here. And I'm going to stamp that right around my sentiment up at the top. I'll put this on the top back on this so I don't stick my hand in it. And there's that. Okay, now that we've used the sticky ink, I don't know if you can't see that in the video, but there you can see it when you're looking at it, that you can see the flowers. Now I take an extra piece of paper and lay it down underneath the sheet that I've stamped with the versemark, and we're going to pour the powder onto that. And you just sprinkle it on and tap it off. And kind of tap your paper, and if you see a spot where it's missing some powder, you can just add that on. And don't worry about using a lot of powder because you can put it right back into the container. And tap the paper to get the extra stuff off. And again, there's a little bit there, so I'll add a little bit more. There we go. Okay, I'm going to set this down for just a moment. And then with this, you can just take this and pour it right back into your bottle. Just like that. Then put the top back on it so you don't knock it over. Ask me how I know to do that. Alright, I'm going to get my heat gun out, and when you do this, you want to warm up your heat gun and let it run for a good 20 seconds or more, so it'll get hot enough. When you use your heat gun on this, it'll melt the embossing powder without warping the paper as bad. If you warm it up while it's melting, it's going to warp your paper. Now I have a box with tin foil in it, and I set this down into the box and then use my heat gun to melt the embossing powder in the box. The foil helps to conduct the energy and heat it up from the back. This is going to be kind of loud, so just kind of bear with me for a few minutes, and I will show you the heat embossing. So here's my box with my tin foil in it, and there's that. Now I'm going to go ahead and heat up my tool so you're going to hear it, but again, just bear with me for just a little bit, please. I'm going to let it warm up, so we'll give it a few minutes. Okay. And you should be able to see it turn with the gold and follow the pattern. Check it, make sure it's all melted. All right, and you can see the gold, that it's all nice and shiny now. Now after you use your heat gun on it, you can look at it and see if there's anything that's still not shiny, you can take your heat gun to it and hit it again and melt it. Make sure it's all melted. So always take a look at that. So we've got that. All right, so now we can start putting our card together. So we're going to take all of our pieces here, and our paper piece, our beautiful pattern paper. I think this is so pretty. It's pretty paper. We're going to take this, and it's going to go on the bottom right here. Get my adhesive. Turn this over. Add my adhesive. And then this is going to go right in here. And just center that. We're going to have a little bit of a border around the edges. Okay. And then this we can close here. And this piece is going to go on there, right there. So we'll go ahead and put that piece down. I'll turn this around because it looks like the flower is going up that direction. And this piece is going to go right there. Okay. This piece is going to get matted on the blue. And we're going to center that here. Okay, now this piece is going to go on here, and it's going to get centered right on here. This piece is going to go on the inside. So this, you want to make sure that this piece covers that white piece, because that's where, when you open it, that's where you're going to be able to write whatever you want to write inside. And this little piece is going to be down here at the bottom, and that's what is going to hold up the easel when it stands up. So what I do is I put this piece on the inside of the card first. That way when I put the top piece on, I'm sure that it is covered by that top piece. So let me go ahead and put this piece down. And this piece is going to be centered right in here. Just like that. Put that in. And then we'll close that piece down. And then this piece is going to go on there, and see how it covers the white piece? Okay. Now, when you're gluing this piece down, you only want to glue the top piece, because if you glue the bottom piece, it's going to stick down here and it won't open. So when you put this down, you only want to do the top. So what I do, I turn it sideways so it's easier. I actually turn it upside down, but I'll turn it sideways so it's easier to see. What I do is I flip it over and I put it where I want it to be, so it's covering the white piece. And then you put your adhesive up here only where you want it to stick. So you want to put it up here at the top. And you can use any glue you want. You can use liquid glue, you can use tape runner, you can use tear and tape, whatever glue or adhesive you want to use. Anything works here. So I just take this and I line it up right where I want it. Make sure it's covering that white piece on the bottom. And there's the front. So now it will open this way and close. But this piece will move up and move down. So there's that. Now this piece, I've already stamped on it. I've already matted it on that blue piece. I've put my foam tape on the back. You want to make sure that you put foam tape on this because you want it to pop up off the back enough for this piece to stand behind it and hold it up. So if you just put it down flat, it's not going to hold that piece up. It'll come off and close on its own. So if you want this to stand up, make sure you put foam tape on here. Some foam tape is a little bit thicker than others. I've got kind of a thick one here. So I wanted to make sure it stood up. We're going to pull the backing off the foam tape here. And then we're going to put it down. And then I just centered it down here at the bottom. Just like that. And then this piece, when you close it, it's covered. You can't see it. But you can pull this up and it will stand right behind that. And it will stand up. The foam tape holds it up enough to where it will stand on its own. And that's the sideways view. Again, you can lift that up, put it down. It folds flat. You can put it into an envelope. And then when the person gets it, they can take it, stand it up, and look at it. That is the simplest fun fold or fancy fold, and it's called an easel card. And that is how you can step up making an easel card by using just one color ink, just the blue. Same thing on the inside. It still stands up. Same thing. If you want to step it up from just using one color ink, you can use 2 different colors of ink. The blue for the sentiment, and then I use the toffee to match the craft background. So the brown pops out a little bit more because it's different. And again, you can step it up and it'll stand on its own. Or you can use heat embossing for that shiny gold, that little touch, and that stands up too. So that is a fun fold, a super easy fun fold for beginners and something fun for those who have been making cards for a while. And the first of my fun fold series. So thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate you joining me the video today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you know when all my new videos come out. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. I will put down in the comments below the stamp set and the papers that I used in this card, so you can take a look at it if you want. So go down in the comments below to check out the materials and supplies used. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.